Thank you so much, Kathy, and to Meridian, and to Bridges of Understanding, and all of the wonderful people that are in this room. I'm honored to be on the stage with such passionate individuals. I feel very humbled, actually. And salam and chetori. I know a little bit of Arabic and a little bit of Persian. I'm neither, but I feel it's important to greet with the greetings where our friends come from. So good afternoon as well. And I'm not going to take a lot of time because I have a clip at the end which speaks for itself. But I will throw out one disclaimer that my dad, who is 60, is one of the most active Facebook people that I know. He has about 300 friends, and I get new friends every day from my father. So I'm sure a lot of you in the room that are over a certain age probably are on Facebook as well. Not just you, but it's really great that youth are on it. So I'm going to quickly go through an outline of my presentation, and let's see if this is working. Excellent. I'm not going to go through everything in depth. I will more do highlights. And I'm glad I've covered the thank yous, because sometimes when we're in the midst of things, we forget to thank the people that have made it possible. I'd also like to thank Global Nomads Group. My colleagues are amazing. We're a small group. The executive director, Terry, is in London at the moment, so he's sorry he could not be here today. I direct the education programs. I have an education background. And I'm a visual learner, which I think is important. I think auditory is great, but that's why I use PowerPoints, also to help myself get me organized. So I'm going to look at a snapshot of our programs, which is why the Bridges of Understanding initiative was such a natural fit for us, because we're already doing, it was a great partnership, and it's so exciting to be part of this. I'm also going to talk to you about the schools that are participating in this initiative, the objectives of the partnership, the impact, and the clip, which is the highlight. And so I don't want to take a lot of time on the other things, and then Q&A when we all reconvene. So this is our mission, and it's lofty, but we try. And we've been around for 10 years. We are a nonprofit. We link students in real time, interactive dialogue on pressing global issues. I loved how we started out the day by talking about how the world is involved in a constant conversation. Our tagline is bringing the world together one conversation at a time. So it's a natural synergy. There's so much synergy in this room. It's palpable, you can feel it. And we're delighted that we're partnering on this U.S.-Jordan Cultural Student Exchange, a cross-cultural dialogue between U.S. and Jordan schools. That's the working title. It may change. I'll have to check with Kathy on that. That's just a working title. So, and, sorry, let me click the next thing. We've lost the, oh, there it is. Okay. These are our programs that we participated in over 40 countries. I thought it was good to give you a background to see where this partnership fits. We do a country profile, which is we really look in depth at a nation. We do a pulse program trying to stay current on the pulse of what's happening in the world, which I think these youth have done at the university level, really staying on the pulse with U.S.-Iraqi relations. Also, Farah, I'm sure, will be talking about her work. And Currents is a partnership with Semester at Sea, and Innovations International Enterprise, which is where the Jordan program was a really natural fit. Also to Senator Frist, it's important to acknowledge you because you helped spearhead all this. Thank you so much. These are programs we've done in these countries. Some of them have been listed. Jordan I thought was important to put first because we actually did a program there many years ago, and it was great to be able to return to the region to do this, to create this partnership. It's important to also note that we've been to Iraq, and we did a video conference there. Turned into a PBS documentary in 2003. We linked up students from a school in Connecticut and students in Baghdad 2 weeks before the war began, because we thought it was important. It's a very lofty mission, very risky. I was involved at the time. The four founders said, let's be innovative, let's figure out how to connect youth. And it became an In the Mix documentary, and we returned in 2008 working with this incredible Iraqi Sari. We can talk more about that at some point, but it's important for you to know that we've been in the region, so at least we have a little bit of experience before we decided to go into Jordan. So these are the things we're covering in this partnership with the U.S., the Bridges of Understanding Foundation: cultural exchange, education reform, girls and women's rights, foreign policy, and refugees and immigration. But let us not forget that these also exist in this country, and that's why we're looking at them from both places, not just as a Middle Eastern issue, but this is very much happening in the U.S. as well. As you will see in the clip, that all these things are very forefront in the minds of U.S. youth as well. The immigration issues, especially as we're electing our next president, foreign policy, how the Middle East and the U.S. are connected, girls and women's rights, education. Like, this is a domestic Violence Awareness Month in this country, and I don't know how many people in the room know that, but it's a huge issue in this country, domestic violence. And I was thinking October, a lot of us don't ever talk about that, so the youth were like, wow, domestic violence, what an issue. We're looking at so many things in the world that relate to youth crossing borders. So these are the things we're focusing on in our conferences. This is a really long program description, but you don't have to read through it all. I'll just highlight that we're looking at how youth can become more connected, how they can become agents of change, how they can look at their commonalities and differences, launching off of bridges of understanding's a mission statement that U.S. and Arab youth, American and Arab youth can learn more about each other. These are the 4 conferences: cultural exchange, education reform and women's rights, political systems and foreign policy, and Iraqi refugees and Jordan's challenge, immigration and the U.S.'s challenge. So looking at the cultural exchange issues. And these are only 4. We have others coming up. This is just the start. These are the 4 schools participating, one of which is Farah's alma mater. We have Park Tudor School in Indianapolis, Indiana, Jubilee School in Amman, Jordan, St. Mary's School in Memphis, Tennessee, and Ahliya School for Girls in Amman, Jordan. This is very exciting. The first conference that happened with Jubilee is just incredible. It brought tears to my eyes when the students saw each other for the first time, and you're going to be amazed when you see this clip. They were just, oh my gosh, in real time, and we're talking, and we're never met, and we're on a screen. It was very, very exciting. So glad we got to capture it. These are the objectives. We're looking at the tensions that exist, the possibilities, learning about each other, discussing the similarities and differences, agreeing that we are more alike than different, as it turns out. It's not rocket science, we know that, but it's important to look at the different historical background and backdrops that how we've been created as young people. Looking at the critical world issues, gaining a better understanding of the whole landscape, the diverse cultural, religious, and social elements of Jordan and the U.S. Young people are serving as ambassadors because they are going back to their communities and saying, wow, I've talked with these youth in secondary schools in real time, and now I can go and figure out what I'm going to do after that to be an agent of change. And also, students are critically analyzing themselves. The educational impact, why this partnership? Well, for obvious reasons, it's going to empower and encourage interactive dialogue across borders. It builds cultural awareness. It creates a face-to-face context, which is, in addition to Web 2.0, I think it's a really good enhancement to Facebook and social networking. It enhances curricula by enabling youth to discuss these issues. We try to create a neutral context, cultivate cultural literacy, diplomatic skills, support 21st century skills, and it's serving as a pilot for other U.S.-Arab relation programs throughout the Middle East, in keeping with Bridges of Understanding's mission and GNG's mission as well. We really want to create more networks. And it's a potential to reach thousands of students in a really cost-effective manner because it's hard, it takes a lot of money to travel, especially with the gas and the oil. And so the video conferencing can cut those costs down, bringing in large numbers of students to be able to talk with one another in a sustained manner. So this is some of the feedback we've gotten that it's been allowing students teachers said it's an excellent program that exposes students to the type of content lecture that they'll experience in college. They recommend the program to other educators, especially urban educators. And students have said that it's made learning information more interesting. Making it more interesting makes me want to learn more. So this was actually a school from another conference, but this is related feedback. I just thought it was important for you to know what people are talking about. It's very similar.